Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we have a special different type of video today. Instead of my usual tech videos, SQL server videos, so today we have a more money related video, right? The US economy. And so if you clicked on this video, you've seen the title, The Fed is in Crisis, and what does this mean to your money? So real quick, if you guys don't know, the Fed or the Federal Reserve is basically a central bank in the United States, right? So think about Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, Bank of America. The Fed is basically that main central bank within the United States that basically keep everything under control. So their main job is to really just to keep price stable and keep people employed. Think about when you hear in the news outlet, the Fed has raised rates, right? When they raise rates, it costs more. It's about money. Or the Fed has cut rates. When they cut rates, borrowing gets cheaper, right? So whenever you get a loan from anything, a car loan or a home loan, the Fed is having an effect into that. Like I said before, their job is to really keep price stable and keep people employed. And right now they're struggling at doing both. And the man who's been running office, Jerome Powell, just got replaced. So Jerome Powell just finished his Fed chairman on position on May 15, 2026, and was replaced by Kevin Warsh, which was confirmed by the Senate by 54 to 45, which is the most divided Senate vote for Fed chairman ever. The wild part is Jerome Powell is leaving, but he's gonna be staying on board until 2028. That hasn't happened in 80 years. So basically, the old boss is still in the room just watching. So what's the main issue, right? Why is the Fed in crisis? So from what I mentioned earlier, and also this, right? So the Fed has basically the most divided Fed in 34 years. Jerome Powell's last meeting on April 29th, the vote was 8 to 4 in terms of cutting interest rate or not. Four people dissented, the most ever since 1992. And the person who dissented weren't even on the same side, right? Three of them wanted to signal that rates might go up. One of them wanted to cut rates now. And this is the same meeting, just opposite demand, right? So ideally, usually when a Fed meeting happens, everyone is on board and there's a majority vote on what should be done. So why our rates are frozen. And the biggest reason why right now, and I'm sure you guys already guessed it, is the war in Iran, right, with the Strait of Hormuz. So why can't they just cut rates already, right? It's because of that war. Since the U.S. and Israel conflict with Iran started in February 28, 2016, gas prices have jumped, right, over $1.50 a gallon, right, which is now about $4.54. And the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important oil shipping lanes. When that get disrupted, it creates like a ripple effect into the whole U.S. economy and the world economies too, right? For example, look at the Philippines. The Philippines right now is struggling to even get gasoline into their country, and not to mention the expensive gas prices out there. So more expensive energy means more inflation. More inflation means the Fed can't cut rates without making things worse. So they're stuck. They're like in a limbo position right now. And the new Fed chairman Warsh, people are worried about Kevin Warsh stepping into office, and it's because he has like three big plans when he gets into office. Number one, he wants to change how inflation is measured. Right, he wants to switch from the current gauge to something that shows lower inflation. That gives him an excuse to cut rates even while prices are still rising. And two, he wants to shrink the Fed's balance sheet. Right now, the Fed is holding $6.7 trillion in bonds. Selling those off push long-term borrowing costs or even without touching the official rate. And three, he wants fewer press conferences, right? Less communication about what the Fed is doing. So what does this mean to your money, right? All the things I said and how is it affecting your livelihood. Here's the breakdown, right? So if Kevin Warsh come into office and cut rates, mortgage rate gets cheaper, right? More mortgage in general gets cheaper. That's good if you're buying houses or refinancing. Car loans and credit cards cost less. Your saving accounts pay you less interest, and stock goes up short term. That's if Kevin Warsh cut rates. So for some Americans, things will be good, but if cutting rates reignite inflation, groceries, gas prices, rent will climb like exponentially, right? Most people again won't be able to afford this. The Fed has to slam on the brakes harder later, like they did in 2012 because of COVID-19. That crash landing is way more powerful than a slow hold. So ideally, if you're in this position, right, if you're in a position where you can't get a house, you can't afford anything, my best advice to you is to invest into the market because Kevin Warsh The reason why he was elected in the first place to be the Fed chairman is because of Donald J. Trump. And Trump, if you guys been reading the titles, he wants to cut interest rate. He even tried to get Jerome Powell arrested or put up in jail, locked up, because Jerome Powell was not cutting interest rate. So he elected Kevin Warsh to do just that. So again, what I mentioned earlier, if Warsh cut rates, mortgage gets cheap, your stocks goes up long terms, right? Car loan and credit cards cost less. So what can you do as an American is to really just get invested into the market, right? Invest into stocks, ETF, invest into whatever you can so you can get on that train if rates does get cut, right? And he actually does cut interest rate, and that also will ignite inflation, right? So ideally, yeah, sure, your investment will go up, but guess what? Like gas prices, rent will still climb too. So really, your best position is to play a defensive mode and just invest in the market, and yeah, and just really try to ride out this wave. Bottom line is, right, the Fed just went through its most dramatic shakeup in decades. The new chair wants to rewrite the rules, the old chair still watching, and nobody can agree while a war drives prices up. This is one of the most consequential economic moments in years, and most people don't even know it's happening. This is the reason why I want to make this video, to kind of shine a light onto what's going on. This is a shorter video. I am going to make a longer video trying to go more depth into this. If you guys do, just please let me know in the comment section, and if you guys have any question or anything else really related to the Fed. Again, like I said, this is a short, quick video. I want to make a longer video into exactly what's going on, and like what you should invest in, like how can you stay invested. So just please drop a comment on the comment section to let me know what you guys want. But just keep in mind, this channel I am going to be making more economic videos, more money related videos, because I feel like right now is the most important part in the US, really US history, in terms of like the wealth inequality. All this goes back into like, if you already invest into the market, you will be good. If you already got money, you will be good. But in terms of like I would say poorer or people that's less fortunate in the U.S. society are going to struggle even more now, right? So it's going to create that division between the wealth and equality in the United States. I'm gonna cut it right here. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, please leave it down in the comment section below. And yeah, and then please guys stay invested, and I'll see you later. Take care.